Republican candidate in Maryland was arrested for filing a false police report. Oh, that's interesting. So this story is amazing in a couple of different ways. First, let's go to his name. The name of the candidate is Ryan Dark White. Ryan Dark White. Now, this guy apparently is a conspiracy theorist, probably QAnon related. And what he did is that he had called the police about an adult bookstore, claiming that this bookstore, that there were witnesses saying that the bookstore was forcing a young girl to perform sex acts on an adult. Now, that's a very serious allegation, one that you would need some evidence for. So where's the evidence? Well, it turns out it was made up. Of course. There were no sex acts being performed. The guy just made it up. And better yet, he claimed that he was part of a sting operation in which he had made up a fake name. He claimed that he was undercover posing as Dr. John McGreevy. Now, that claim would be very easy to disprove. All you'd have to do is investigate whether a Dr. John McGreevy actually worked at the bookstore. And it turns out he didn't. The alleged source of information was, again, a made-up 54-year-old employee at the store named Dr. John McGreevy. Again, what would a doctor be doing in an adult bookstore? No idea. As well as, by the way, the same name that he is using to run for Congress is John McGreevy. The guy's name is Ryan Dark White, and yet he's already used a fake name to run for office in the same fake name to claim that he's working at a bookstore. This story's wild. Now, he says that he got the job as part of a law enforcement sting operation on the drug trade into Baltimore City. So wait, he's now part of a law enforcement? I mean, the lies just keep coming. The insane lies. Now, detectives with the Hartford County Child Advocacy Center, they did their due diligence and they investigated this, right? And after conducting interviews and gathering digital evidence, investigators first had identified the adult male and juvenile female mentioned in the initial complaint. However, at no point was any formal report filed by any of the purported witnesses, according to the sheriff's office. In fact, police said that the investigation revealed at no time were any sex acts performed or offered by any of the individuals in the establishment as reported by White. But that's not all. White also claimed that there were between 100 to 200 pounds of drugs in some part of the building. Let me guess, it was in the basement where they were keeping the children that they were drinking the blood of? I don't know. He claimed in a video that they started exploiting children, and there's a child trafficking ring being run through there as well. And yet, none of those things were true. But again, it doesn't have to be true for right-wingers to believe it, because they live in a post-truth world. So wherever, whatever they feel to be true is true for them. That's the reality. A great example here is the fact that, according to a Yahoo YouGov poll from 2020, half of all Trump supporters believe that Democrats were involved in an elite child sex trafficking ring. That's QAnon. Half of Republicans, like, oh no, no, there's child sex trafficking ring, and they're taking the kids, and they're drinking the blood, and they're doing the sacrifice, and, all that stuff. That's bonkers. That's insane. And 52% said, oh, Trump's in power because he wants to break them up. Again, not true at all. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. But no, you ask them, of course, and no. It's not that it's not true. No. It's the mainstream media. They're not reporting it because they're in on it, because they're liberal. The media is liberal. Really? The media is liberal. Yeah, interesting. Not true at all, but interesting. Now, interestingly enough, too, the police would have to be in on it because, again, they found no evidence of his insane claims. In fact, police arrested him on Friday and transported him to the Hartford County Detention Center, where he awaits. The sheriff, Jeffrey R. Gawler, said this, quote, "It is shameful that a candidate for public office would make up such a story and use it to further his own political agenda." Well, I mean, are we really surprised? Again, we have seen people, all sorts of different people, make up all sorts of insane things. Marjorie Greene talked about Jewish space lasers, starting forest fires, instead of climate change, which is actually causing forest fires and making conditions worse or easier for them to actually start. No, it's Jewish space lasers. That's what it is. Conspiracy theorists, all of them. Insane. And the worst thing about this is that this is probably, among those voters, among their core constituents, it's going to give them a bump. Because unfortunately, insanity has gripped the Republican Party. It's now, to be a conspiracy theorist, to not believe in facts and truth, that's a virtue in the Republican Party.